Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes, little boxes, little boxes.
Autism Moloch. Who are we treating anyway, child or parent? In this video, I will tackle a few problems commonly encountered in handling a child on the autism spectrum. First, stimming. Some parents see all forms of stimming as a damning sign that their child is different from other kids and are quite often embarrassed by it. They go to extra length to make the habit go away or get it extinguished. They are often proud of their accomplishment and the resources spent to reach this goal. However, for the child, stimming represents a badly needed means of stress relief. Children do not understand stress management. They only know how they feel. And many find out pretty quickly that they can feel better by plucking hair, or rocking, or biting nails, or cutting skin, etc. By extinguishing the stimming habit through behavioral manipulation and/or threats, we are depriving the child of this relief and compounding her suffering. An alternative approach would be to provide other means of stress relief, in which case the habit will disappear spontaneously. This does not mean that stress management makes stimming disappear forever. No, as a matter of fact, whether you use stress relief or take the child to a conventional therapist, stimming may still come back during crises, sensory overload, or depressive circumstances. Stimming should be viewed for what it is: a rare sign that children display, telling us they are in a state of distress. Especially in the case of autism, we should be mindful of these nonverbal signs to manage them, rather than try to extinguish them. Second area is ABA. Therapy is many times a useful part of bringing an autistic child from his world back to ours. However, the choice of therapist can make the difference between success and failure. The best way I can describe applied behavioral analysis is attempting to teach someone the regional accent for a language he or she does not speak. Autistic children spend the majority of their time too overwhelmed to understand the emotions they are feeling. This puts them at a disadvantage in emotional development. Many well-meaning ABA therapists ignore talking them into understanding their emotions and focus exclusively on teaching them canned behavioral responses. While this is viewed as practical by the therapist and helps put anxious parents at ease, it is problematic for two reasons. First, children never really internalize these behaviors as their own. Rather, they realize these responses are just another thing they have to tolerate in order to please their surroundings. This can and often does become a source of distress for the child in a catch-22 sort of way. In other words, learning canned behaviors does not help the child operate in situations that are even slightly different from the learned response. You can teach the behavioral response to hundreds of social situations, and you can bet the first time your child is on his or her own, they will encounter a novel situation that therapy never provided a solution for. Drawing on similar situations that were actually learned often leads only to embarrassment. Their behavior is perceived as bizarre by others, and this eventually leads to isolation. Second, in order to provide the child a fighting chance in society, you have to help her get in touch with her own feelings until she understands them. Then and only then she can find within her the appropriate response to just about any social situation she finds herself in. Solution: choose a Jungian therapist who will dwell into your child's own emotional makeup and help her understand the emotional language that everyone else uses in everyday interaction. Third area is pharmaceutical psychotropics. Without going into physiologic details in this context, understand that currently available psychotropics are too nonspecific in their mode of action in the brain to solve any behavioral problems. They just mask problems, make them inaccessible, and push them into the future. Not to mention that many psychotropics are powerful enough to abolish your child's born personality and replace it with docile, mellow, underachieving, and submissive personality. All this is a problem because as your child grows up she will find out that she has all these unresolved childhood issues that she has to grapple with as an adult. She may never forgive you for that. Fourth area is peekaboo. Here is life problem to end this partial critique of the state of autism today. Autistic children hate surprises. And I mean that in the most despising and intolerant of ways. It seems just about every doctor and every parent use peekaboo to measure the child's ability to interact. It is often used as a cornerstone in autism diagnosis. When did personal preference become the basis of disease and wellness? It boggles the mind when you think of it. This brings me to the title of the video. Moloch, in case you do not remember, is a deity whose worship was marked by the propitiatory sacrifice of children by their own parents. 2 Kings 23:10, Jeremiah 32:35. The contents of this video are just a drop in the bucket of the revelations you can expect to find in Psyche Smart Autism book. Currently available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Google Books.
Made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same.